It's kind of hard to see with the lighting on stage, but I think I can get through this. I have a question to ask. How many guitarists are in the audience this evening? Please raise your hands. Wow, that's a lot of guitar players. Guitar players have a tendency of really flocking to each other. And it's a wonderful experience because we're all seemingly in the same family, and there's something beautiful about that. So to all of the guitar players prior to the next Wes Montgomery composition we're going to perform for you, I have a story to tell you. And this particular composition, this song, I had the pleasure of hearing Wes play this many, many times in the 60s. This was a very special moment. I first went to New York City at the age of 15 years old, and I went there to be part and parcel of something that was a dream to me as a child. All the great musicians there, the culture itself was very different than what I was born and raised in. And I wanted to change. So I went to New York City, to Harlem. And I lived in New York City afterwards for approximately 27 years. And the first part of it, I stayed with Les Paul in a place called Mahwah, New Jersey. His house is still there, in fact. And so is Les. I was working at a place in Harlem at 135th and 7th Avenue at that time, with a great, great leader, a band leader that was my mentor. He was like my father at that time, Mr. Willis Jackson. And down the street from Small's Paradise was a smaller club called Count Basie's. And at Count Basie's, many, many artists played there all the time. It was just a great, great place. It just so happened that one night, Wes Montgomery was playing there. So I said to Les Paul, I said, Les, there's a guitar player at Count Basie's right down the street from me that I think you know all about and you're really going to enjoy. And Les turned around and responded by saying, I've never, as of yet, I've never heard him play. You know, I've heard his name, but I haven't really heard him yet. So I'll come into Small's Paradise and take me over there and introduce me to him. So I did so. In the middle of a set, after we finished, we used to have 20 minutes off each set. And we used to play 7 shows a night, every night, 7 days a week. So in between one set, I took Les Paul down the street to 133rd Street and 7th to Count Basie's. And there playing with Wes Montgomery was Jimmy Cobb on drums and Melvin Rhyme, his organist at that particular time. So we stood at the bar, you know, relaxed, and they were playing the song that we're going to play next for you. At the end of the show, Wes came over to both of us, and he said to Les Paul, he said, you know, there were 2 guitarists that I'm their fan to the max. These were my idols. The first was Charlie Christian, and the second is you. And he told Les about this. And Les was really taken. He was stunned by the playing all night long. I thought that he was coming back to Small's Paradise because I had to leave, and I only had 20 minutes off, and I'd be fired if I wasn't there on time, so I had to be there. So I went back to Small's Paradise, and he never came back the rest of the night, so I knew what Wes was doing to his mind. At the end of the evening, I left Small's Paradise and walked up the street with my guitar packed, and the club had emptied out, but there were 4 other gentlemen, 4 other guitarists that were standing outside waiting for me to come by and show up. And I showed up, and there was standing Wes Montgomery, of course, Les Paul, Grant Green, George Benson, and I made the 5th guitarist. And we went from that moment to breakfast. The applause is for each and every one of those gentlemen. 2 of them are still with us, making 3 of us out of the 5. We're going to play a song that Wes closed that set with, and it was written by Wes, and that's the way Count Basie's was that night. It's called Full House. We hope you enjoy it.